Oh, congratulations, motherfucker. You gonna learn something today.
Welcome to Ramble On. You're gonna fucking learn.
Best believe.
With your host, Brandon Meese, and your special host, which hopefully will return forever,
James Robinson. Trust me, you gonna learn today.
That's right. We got some things we want to talk about today, some things.
And it's gonna be some real serious things, so if you're let's just say if you're soft-eared or you are one of those people that can't handle hard conversations or hard truths, just turn it off now. Or better yet, no, turn it up. So maybe your spouse or your kids or your parents or your aunts and uncles can hear this and you guys can have an open debate about it.
Yep. Which we're going to do today because I am, what do you call it, European Italian, and my good friend here is
African American and question mark.
That's right, and question mark. Who knows where we've been?
Yeah. No, technically it really is because I'm adopted, so I don't know. It's just question mark. I could be full black. I could have Asian in me. I could have white in me. I don't really know.
That's right. So today we're going to talk about a few topics, including what's the difference between racial appropriation and appreciation, and
also the difference between racism and privilege to the white personnel.
And
trying to use my delusions of grandeur there.
And why people think that racism is even something that's even fun to do to begin with.
Well, we're never really going to get to the core of why racism is fun to do.
We have an idea, but they're all stupid.
Yeah.
It all involves intellectual versus unintellectual, like not like, what do you call it? Street smarts kind of thing. Like
no, it's not common sense versus street sense.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. It's literally how I can't even say like how you're brought up, but it's not even ignorance.
It's a little ignorance. It's a little bit, just to finish your sentence, it's a little bit of upbringing, yes.
And being easily influenced.
Yes. Weak-willed.
Yeah, okay.
Weak-minded and weak-willed.
All right. So
and we do, I'm not going to lie, this one's going to run a little long because I do have a theory to throw at you that you might like.
Awesome.
I have one for the end of it because of the fact that I was reading up on some stuff today and it kind of threw me off. And I don't know if you followed it, but I will give you the backstory a little bit later. But if you want to get to the serious stuff now, we'll get to the serious stuff now.
No, we got two things we got to talk about first.
Okay, of course.
One, how awesome my Twitter is because I have no followers yet. No, I actually have 30.
You didn't even tell me you had a Twitter.
I do.
That's messed up.
I don't really tell people because I'm not exactly.
There you go. The difference between cultural appreciation and
cultural
appropriation. Nah, not really. He's got 0 followers, but he needs to throw that out there. Definitely needs to throw that out there.
I mean, currently I've got like 12, but the most is people like, I followed you, so you should automatically follow me.
Okay.
Follow back and forth stuff.
Yeah.
But
I thought you were going to say family members, but whatever.
No, nobody even knows I have a Twitter except for you and 2 other friends.
Oh.
And
I feel special. Right. I retract that statement about being the difference between cultural appropriation and appreciation.
Oh, gosh, thank you. Because it's like, I made this originally to talk to, like, one friend. One friend. And then,
overseas, or?
No. Well, he used to live in Ontario, John.
Oh, okay.
He's like, you should try this Twitter thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, Twitter, okay.
Yeah, the scourge of the fucking internet.
No, I mean, that can be the scourge, but 4chan is still the wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is. That and Reddit. Reddit is where you go to post something if you feel like emotionally getting raped in the behind by amateur porn night.
Yeah. So my Twitter is kind of soy, KYNEOFSOY, and that's how it will be for the podcast until if I get enough attention, do I need to make my own separate one just for the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my part, and we're also here to promote Jay's Mobile Auto.
Oh, again with the promotion.
I can't stop because it's so good.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I was also thinking about doing a small little fundraiser.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was going to be Stop to Tell Me You Love Me. That was it's a work in progress, let's just say that. But I was going to do pad slaps for $30 a piece. That means either your front brakes or your back brakes were going to be done for $30 labor. And all proceeds were going to go to... I don't have a charity in mind just yet, but I do have a couple. But if you do have some ideas, you're more than welcome to shoot them to me at jaysmobileauto@gmail.com.
I know you're thinking about the Wayne's Foundation for Kids.
That one, I'm also thinking about the Leukemia Foundation.
Yeah.
There's I don't know if that's the actual name of the Leukemia Foundation. There's another one where it's for AIDS treatment. I know there's millions of them out there. I just want to research them all to make sure that I find the right ones, so that way when your guys' money goes to it,
it's not getting lined to corporate pockets. It's actually going to people who
really need it, you know? Just like what happened with Red Cross and stuff. I want to make sure that your guys' money is actually going into the hands of people that need it.
That's right.
I might also get in a collaboration with one of my customers. He runs a food drive every Wednesday. I'm going to call him up, and hopefully next time I'm on here, I can tell you guys where you guys can send your donations to, because he also runs a small church, and every Wednesday he goes out all over the city of Long Beach, California, and he hands out food to the homeless. Homemade food. I mean, I was there one time working on one of his vehicles, one of the fleet vehicles, and basically he had over 300 meals that him and his wife prepared by hand. And it wasn't just like lunch meat sandwiches. It was hot food. They had a chicken breast and a wing, some rice, some corn, a couple slices of bread, and a full thing of Gatorade. And I'm not talking about the little small ones. I'm talking 32-ounce ones. So
nice.
You know it's costing him probably a good about $400 or $500 for him to do that. So you know, I want to give him a great shout out, but I want to talk to him first to get his name out there, so that way he knows that he's being appreciated, and you know, see if I can get you guys to give him a little donation, so that way he can
it's
great, start going more than just Long Beach. Maybe he can hit Downey, he can hit, you know, centralized LA. You know, something to help these people, because not all of them are just deadbeats on the street that are druggies. Mm-hmm. There was a couple of them that have bad mental health issues, and they don't want to get help because they've already been ingrained in their minds that help's not for them.
Mm-hmm. You know? That they're trying to be tested on, or they're against them.
Exactly. And
you're just going to chain me, put me in jail. You're not going to give me any help. You're just going to put me in jail.
Or you're just going to throw me out after the night. That's what everybody else does. I'm just a dirge of society, you know?
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but this is also one of the things I wanted to bring up as well, that homelessness in America is a big thing, and everybody wants to sweep it underneath the rug.
Yeah.
I've seen several, just going to my wife's place of business at night, I've seen in Temecula probably a good 30 to 40, and I was talking to a couple of them because they were really nice, and you know, they asked me for a smoke, a cigarette, and I gave them one, and I started asking them questions. Hey, how'd you get here? You know, what happened? You know, I just wanted to generally try to help them, because, you know, a lot of people just see them as, ew, get away from me, you're dirty, you're unclean, you're less than.
Yeah.
I wanted them to make him feel human, even if it was just for the time me and him were smoking, or me and her were smoking. You know what I mean? Yeah. I just wanted them to feel like they're a human again. Mm-hmm. You know, and a couple of them said that, you know, the cops, when they would bust up their little housings and stuff like that underneath the overpass, they told them they had two choices: either you take this bus ticket, or you go to jail. And what they were doing is shipping them all to the outskirts around LA County. They were sending them to San Bernardino County. They were sending them to Riverside County. They were sending them to Orange County. They didn't know where they were going.
Mm-hmm.
They were just told, like, either you get on this fucking bus or you go to jail.
A literal bus.
Yeah. You were going on the Greyhound, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Yeah, because most cities don't want to actually solve the problem; they just want to move it onto somebody else.
No, they want to sweep it under the rug like it's not a big deal, because then if they don't have to address it, they don't have to feel bad about it. That's the main thing. If it's out of sight, it's out of mind, and if it's out of your mind, you don't have to deal with it. And that's basic human psychology.
Yeah.
If you don't have to deal with it on an everyday basis, you don't have to be perceived as a bad person because you don't want to help. You know? And that's my big thing is you should be able to help someone. I mean, granted, whatever they use it for, so be it. You don't have to give them money. You can give them food. Buy them a Happy Meal. Trust me, they call it a Happy Meal for a reason. Somebody's going to be happy they got it.
That's right.
You know? I mean, if one of them, perfect example. About a year ago, I had one guy that was sitting outside of a Vons. And I was like, hey, dude, you know, he had his little sign saying, you know, please, any change will do, you know, just trying to do what I can to live and stuff. And I was like, hey, bro, why don't we go in here and I'll spend like $30-$40 on non-perishables, get you some food, you know, and we'll do what we can to get it in a bag or something like that so you can carry it around so you're not killing yourself in shopping bags, or people don't try to steal your food because they think it's food, you know, the other ones and stuff. Yep. You know, if you want to share, that's on you, but, you know, I want to make sure you don't get stolen from. And he said, in all honesty, thank you, but I just want to buy beer. If you're that honest, fuck yeah, I'll buy you a 24-pack. Here you go, buddy. Have fun. If that's all you want it for. Because now that I bought him that beer, he can use the rest of that change for food or water or whatever the hell he wants to use it for. You know what I mean? I want to hope that he's using it for good, yep. But that's just on me. You know what I mean? I can only hope so much. What he does with his money, it's his fucking money. Yeah. I'm not going to tell him, oh, I'm not going to give you change because you're going to get drugs. Well, then don't give him change. Don't give him an explanation.
Yeah.
You don't owe anybody an explanation if you don't want to give them somebody.
And at the same time, if you go, oh, I'm not going to give you money because you'll probably just use it for drugs. What do you say after that if you're the homeless guy?
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, there's no rebuttal to that.
No.
I mean, the only thing you can say is, okay, can you go inside and get me a chicken or a ham sandwich or something?
Yeah.
And if you still say no, then you are the fucking douchebag on that one. Mm-hmm. Because if he's basically rebuttaling you and saying, okay, if you don't trust me enough to give me money, give me food, and you still say no, then yes, you are a douchebag. Yes, you are. You're actually more less than him.
Yeah, you're doing it on purpose to be an asshole.
Yeah.
To bring somebody else down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not cool. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and like I said, you know, a lot of them have mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've also known someone who was homeless for a good 7 years before they got a job again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it comes to a point where you've been homeless for so long, you give up.
Some of them give up. Some of them just end up liking it because complacency.
Yeah, complacency as well. Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, once you become homeless from whatever situation you had, it's almost nearly impossible to get a job again.
Oh, yeah. They said everybody in America is one decent hospital bill away from being homeless.
Yeah.
You know? Because, you know, if you don't pay it, it's going to go on your taxes and all this other stuff. I mean, you know, it could be as simple as you have two people working in the same house. One loses his job, it's over. It's over. You're either living in a studio apartment with you and your two kids, or you're on the street, living from homeless shelter to homeless shelter and praying the homeless shelter doesn't call Child Protective Services to get your kids in a different home, because you'll never see them again.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, depending on my situation, if it doesn't get any better, that's where I'm headed.
Well, that's what we're all hoping for. Maybe the charity might be for you. How about that?
No.
You know? Maybe I'll take 50% of the proceeds and do 50% to, you know, the Mies Fund, and do 50% to the charity of, you know, whatever I choose. And I'll make sure that you guys know that all the money, I will make sure. So when you guys do come down and I do set this up, I need you guys to actually, when you donate, write down write down your email, write down your Twitter handle or whatever you feel comfortable with, so that way I can show you guys, hey, this money went there. You can check and tell them. You can call and say, hey, this is what it's going to. I mean, if you feel more up to it, what I can do is this, I can set up a, GoFundMe. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where you just pay on the GoFundMe page.
Yep, it keeps those homeless people getting food and whatnot.
Yeah, I could do that with the homeless person. I can do it with, some of the charities that it's supposed to go to.
Yeah. Stuff
like that. I just want to start giving back to the community. I mean...
Yeah, you get off on helping people.
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to lie.
I know you do. I've seen it.
I do. The only reason I ask for money is because I just got to keep the lights on and gas in the car.
Yeah.
If gas was free... if everything else was free, gas and food. Let's just be real. If gas and food were free, you guys wouldn't probably pay for my services. You'd probably be feeding me Church's chicken all the time.
Oh, that'd be good.
Don't worry. We're not sponsored by Church's chicken. We just know it's just that damn good. Oh, and I heard your wife went to Moreno Valley, all the way out to Moreno Valley to get you Church's chicken. By the way, she told me about that. How she drove all the way out to Moreno Valley just to get you Church's chicken.
Yep, brought me home cold chicken.
I brought you cold chicken, but it was coming from Downey.
So did she, because I can get to 6 hours later.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I got you cold chicken. Oh, thanks. Couldn't you heat it up? Well, at least I got you chicken.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Wow. Okay.
At least that's food.
So it's saying from National City to Long Beach is just on the freeway itself is 118 miles.
Uh-huh.
So every city in between that, and plus if I add towards, what would you say, towards Temecula and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And stuff, and Murrieta and Wildemar and
told you it was over 100 miles.
Yeah, it's 100 miles. Yeah.
Over easy. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what wonderful subject should we try to discuss first?
I just want to throw it out there for all the people that are confused and say that white privilege is racism. It's not. It's fucking not. It's not. Oh God, is it not? Okay.
Right.
This is. I know you have you hate this subject.
No, I don't hate it. I'm genuinely interested in it.
Okay.
I want to see.
Everybody knows what racism is, or they have some understanding, some small understanding. All you have to know is, I hate that dude, or I hate that chick, or I hate that cunt, or I hate that bitch, or I hate that motherfucker because of
X, Y, Z, as they say.
Yeah.
Because it was. The thing is, if you grew up in America,
mm-hmm.
or any country that has cable TV or any type of TV on the regular, you will run into some form of racism.
Oh, you mean where they call it civilized just because we have electricity?
Yes.
Okay.
Or you can pick up major broadcasts from someone who has more than the budget of $10. You will see either racism itself or being reported on.
Mm-hmm. Because it sells.
Yes.
It sells. It's the drug of the day. Let's just call it that. It's the drug of the day. So I want to hear what you think the two mean before I actually go into it.
Oh, no.
Don't worry. There's no wrong answer. No wrong answer. Trust me. It's only because you have to know where someone else is coming from.
Right. Okay. All right. Which one first?
It's up to you. You want to tackle white privilege or do you want to tackle racism?
What I think racism is, besides retarded as fuck.
Yeah, besides that, the core, well, not the core, but the outlying thing of racism. Why would they think both are connected?
Why would they think they're connected? Okay.
Yeah. Or they're one and the same, because it seems to be that it's more that people are thinking it's one and the same than connected.
Okay. Let's see. Racism as a whole is by my thought of definition of racism is one person or group or something, an entity, disparaging or hating another because of physical appearance.
Physical appearance? Anything else than that? You know, I mean...
No, because
I don't think being gay is a physical appearance.
That's not racism. That's a form of sexism.
Is it? Okay. Yes. I'll go with that. I'll go with that.
Because you can be black, you can be Asian, you can be...
Oh, that's right. Okay,
whatever,
thank you.
And you can all be having a lemon stand parade. You know?
I can't believe you used that term. All right. Okay. We're getting into big words now. All right, fine. So go back to what you were saying.
So yeah. Racism is by outward appearances.
Mm-hmm.
Because...
Outward physical appearances.
Yes. Before someone opens their mouth to say anything, you have already deemed this person to be either below you or to be in a negative view.
Okay. Just to throw out a disclaimer, he's not talking about motherfuckers wearing pink shirts. No. Even though it's an outside appearance. Hating people that wear pink shirts is not racism.
They were called salmon. The shirt, the color is called salmon.
That's a pastel color. There is still pink out there.
Yes, there is.
I've been grilled by my wife for about an hour and a half for the difference between
and you
pastel.
Still turned out slightly pink.
Yeah.
We're talking about grilled fish.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, look, lady, I failed art class in high school. You're getting what you're getting. It's salmon or pink. I don't give a crap.
Yeah. There's no between shades. There's no more really. Yeah. But yeah, racism, it's ridiculous. I don't really think that it should be connected to white privilege.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of white privilege really until a few years ago.
Okay. It never really had a coined phrase until recently.
Yes, it was still just considered like racism.
Mm-hmm. That's where it gets confused, and that's where the blurred lines start intersecting.
Yeah. The way I've heard white privilege being used is that basically from either my parents or my parents' parents or back hundreds of years ago or thousands of years ago, it was established by someone who won in a military way right to own another person.
That's slavery, buddy.
I think slavery spilled into turning to racism. When slavery was abolished, racism was still a thing because of slavery in the beginning.
So you think that racism started due to... Slavery.
Uh-huh. Because slavery is the buying and selling of people who you deem are below you.
Less than human. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And what is one of the things of racism?
Yeah, it's to think you're superior from other races. Yeah. That's
just
why...
because of your physical... naked appearance.
Yeah.
If you weren't wearing clothes.
Yeah, and the thing about white privilege is that you don't understand that it happens in every country, and it's not called white privilege. We have white privilege in America. We have Japanese privilege in Japan, and we have Chinese privilege. Here's the one that's gonna slip your lid. We have Chinese privilege in Tibet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one that throws me off. It's not even your own country, but they've got privilege over there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I think white privilege really only pertains to America.
Mm-hmm. I will agree with you on that.
How it has been coined and the way it is used.
Yes. I that's why I was throwing out that little definition that I considered if we were talking about the planet as a whole, it would have to be called, I guess, racial privilege. Or would you call it? I want to coin like a really, really good like delusion of grandeur name for it, like I wouldn't even say continent, but country.
I only see it as rich privilege.
Okay.
You have rich privilege, and then you have poor.
Yeah. Okay. So you think of it more of as an economic standing?
Correct, because every time I've heard the argument placed by anybody, it always deals with money.
Yeah, those are the idiots. Those are the idiots that can't really...
I've been told myself personally by other groups, not including African American or Asian or whatever it is, any other, white people. White privilege is something that's given to you because you are not any other color but white.
Wow, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It's one of the things I've heard.
I know, But I'm just giving my 2 cents. That's
Yep.
the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And don't get me wrong, people. I will give my 2 cents on why I think it's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Well, it's easy because it is the dumbest thing I've ever heard because it has nothing to do with economic standing.
Mm-hmm.
In my terms.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with economic standing. I mean, continue. By all means, continue.
Yeah. The most I've heard, the most used is that your father and your father's father made money off of my parents and my grandparents, my ancestors' hard work for nothing. Through slavery, through indentured servitude.
So basically, they're basically saying because of slavery, you made money off of slavery.
Even if it wasn't you, it was your ancestors. Your ancestors and my ancestors had beef, and your
right
ancestors
back to the dumbest thing I ever heard.
made money off of mine. That's your white privilege. It started there, and it's never stopped. Because they had money back then, they were able to keep it and trickle it down to their next generation and next generation and the next generation, while my family had to build up from nothing.
All families had to build up from nothing.
Right. But most of the arguments I've heard have started from slavery. That, they had nothing. They were used, abused, thrown away as trash, treated as such, and your ancestors had no issues, had no problems, and was just able to keep giving money down the line.
Obviously, they forgot about the Irish.
Yes.
That's why I keep telling people it's the dumbest thing I ever heard, because they keep forgetting about the little, I guess you would put it as an asterisk. This doesn't apply to the Irish, the Chinese, the da-da-da-da, the da-da-da-da. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like excluding the time that Irish people were considered less than in New York, but made it really big in Chicago. Yeah.
Any kind of immigrant workers.
Yeah.
Who started from literal nothing. Who their entire nation had been in turmoil for many years.
Oh, of course.
And who would have considered, I know it's controversial, but being slaves is they had a roof over their head. They were still fed something.
Yeah.
Compared to third world countries who were just dying, just trying to live. And they were free, but they were still dying.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you've been told, I'm going to tell you out right now. What you've been told is completely wrong in a normal person's eyes.
Right.
That is not the definition of white privilege.
All right.
Or it's not a good explanation of white privilege.
This is all the things I've been hearing on
I know.
TV.
Media TV, not just media TV, just media in general.
Yes.
Social media, TV,
News,
movies.
Outlets, movies.
Yeah.
So, enlighten me upon the true ways.
Well, I'm not going to tell you it's the true ways. It's just how I see it as a person that comes from that kind of problematic. I mean, yes, I grew up in the ghetto, but yes, I've also grown up in the suburbs.
Yeah.
My dad is the epitome of Drake's song. Started from the bottom, now we're here. He is the epitome of that. I mean, he started as a bricklayer in the same company, and then sad to say, he got laid off, but he was a director of field operations after he was there for that long. I mean, he knew the owners. He went to the all four sons' college graduations, sitting next to the parents, the owners of the company.
Went from a bricklayer to that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hard way.
The hard way. He literally is the epitome of Drake's song. I don't care what you think about Jay-Z, selling drugs to being one of the richest African-American males in the world, or close to it.
Yeah.
I guess his net worth is something close to $1 billion or something like that. I don't really read up on other people's bank accounts, because if I start worrying about other people's bank accounts, I start slipping on mine. So...
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, it's net worth. It's not really money in his account.
Yeah, it's not liquid assets.
Yeah. It's basically how much his name is worth to people, to companies, to investors, stuff like that.
Yep.
If you have Dr. Dre's freaking, name attached to it, it's going to make some money. If you have Sean Combs' name, attached to something, it's going to make money. If you have Missy Elliott's or Kid Rock or, I'm just going to throw a whole bunch of names out there. For God's sakes, Sammy Hagar. Yeah, his tequila's selling fucking awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's got his... I think it's Sammy Hagar. You guys can definitely correct me on this, but isn't he the one that is in... He's got a bar in Cabo San Lucas, and he has his own tequila farm, and it's called Wabo Cabo. And I should probably look that up on the internet, but I'm not going to fact check myself right now.
Right.
Because we need to get back to the matter at hand.
White privilege.
Yeah, so racism, you've pretty much got it down. I mean, it is outward appearance. It is. But it has to pertain to all of that general. So it can't be, I just hate that motherfucker because of who he is.
Yeah.
It has to be, I hate all the him and all the motherfuckers that look just like him.
Yeah. That's true racial profile.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you say, I only hate this type of this because it's a stereotype, that's slightly different.
It's slightly different, but it still falls under the category.
Because you're like, I'm still friends with all the normal above, people of the same skin color.
Thanks, Becky, to let me know that you have 15 fucking black friends on your Twitter page, Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Or thanks, Darnell. I really wanted to know about your white friend in California when you live in New York that you haven't seen for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but to get into white privilege it has very little to do with economic standing. Has very little to do with your grandparents, great-grandparents. I don't care if it's great-grandpappy that took over Greece in 1930. I'm just throwing numbers out there. Don't quote me. Because I just saw that. I was like, 1930? Who could overgrow Greece in 1930? Well, Greece was overthrowing us in 1930.
Right, okay.
So, what it has to do is with a psychological standpoint.
Okay, some kind of profiling?
Kind of. Psychological standing. And what I mean by is, let's say you're driving down a car. You're driving down the road, you're in your car, Yay, the wheels on the bus go round and round. You have children, it's going to be playing in your car.
Right, yes.
Okay, thank you. Maybe not that one, but,
Mm-hmm.
I spy with my little eye something that is green. Something like that is going to be playing in your car.
Yep.
You look in your rearview mirror. You see a cop. What's your first? And I mean, don't even think about it. What's your first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, depending how far on me or away from me he is.
No, I mean your first thought. Doesn't matter. You just glance into your rearview mirror.
And the sirens aren't going?
No.
Okay. Fuck. As long as I don't get pulled over.
Okay.
That's the first thing you're like, oh shit.
So your biggest fear is just getting pulled over at that second.
Yeah, and because I think everyone has that innate fear of, since there's a cop behind me, he's going to pulling you over for something. He'll try to find something because from either boredom or it's part of his job.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. Congratulations. You have just passed or failed the white privilege test. Your first thought was, oh my God, he's going to kill my wife and kids.
Okay.
You want me to elaborate?
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So, if we get pulled over, if a African American, and this has happened to me on New Year's Day, Kristen can attest to this.
Was this year or last year?
No, it was a couple years ago.
Okay.
Actually, it was like 6 years ago. We just moved up to where we are now.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's like 6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
5?
My first thought was, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail, or I'm not going to make it past this stop. I had no alcohol in my system. Not one drop of alcohol. Not one drop of controlled substances. Nothing. He followed me from, and I'm going to bring out street names. He followed me from Temecula Parkway and Butterfield Stage all the way to Temecula Parkway and Margarita. I made a right on Margarita, and I went down to Pio Pico, made a left, or not Pio Pico, Deep Portola, and made a left, Went all the way till that turned into Inez, right there by the Taco Bell.
Uh-huh.
We made a U-turn. He followed me back up to Margarita, and he pulled me over on the corner of Margarita and Palba.
That's a good distance. That's a few miles. He
followed me the whole way.
Yeah.
The whole way. He had no legal reason to stop me.
Mm-hmm.
All my lights were working. I used turn signals and everything. To be followed for 6.5 miles, he was hunting.
Okay.
My first thought was I was going to die that night.
Okay.
That's your first thought. That's the difference between white privilege psychologically and everyday things that we have to deal with.
Okay. Now, from my point of view, that would seem extreme to me to be a first thought.
It's extreme, but we do live that.
Okay.
I mean, I've even been profiled coming back from your house when you do barbecues when you were still living at the old house.
Yeah.
I got pulled over for making a left for no reason at all. Pulled me over, asked me if I'd been drinking, asking me where I was coming from, which in all legal rights he has to do. But he kept me there for 15 minutes to see if I would run.
Interesting.
And then when he couldn't find anything on me, because he had my license, he had my insurance, and he had my registration in the car, and they were sitting there for 15 minutes.
Uh-huh.
Just staring at me to see if I was going to run. And when he came back to the car and said, "Have a nice day," he tossed me my information. He didn't hand it back to me. He tossed it into my lap.
Okay. Now, I hope that's a rare occurrence, but I don't know offhand because, like I said, I don't live with you. I'm not with you.
It's a rare occurrence because I don't get stopped that much. I try not to go out unless it's work related.
Right. So white privilege is more of the lines of from what you're saying for this exercise, that it's more of
a psychological and mentality standpoint.
Okay. So how would you say to me, in a random everyday sentence, how I am using my white privilege?
I would say just existing
is my white privilege.
I know it sounds harsh, I know it sounds bad, and I'd probably have to elaborate, but I would say your existence shows your white privilege.
Of not being constantly accosted for things that I am or not doing.
And this is where a lot of people, at this point, this is where a lot of people think that racism and white privilege are either connected or one and the same.
Okay.
Is because we get profiled at a higher rate. And I'm not just saying black people, I'm saying people in color in general. Because they think we're going to do more lowbrow crimes like, drive without a license or drive without insurance or have our drivers, our registration's going to be bad.
Or a stolen vehicle. Yeah.
Especially if it's nice. God, I've seen it too many times with my dad.
Because he owns a nice car and they think he stole it.
Yeah, but it's an older black gentleman with a nice car. And that was the reason why he stopped buying BMWs. He got sick and tired of it. He got stopped once a week by the same cop. For 2 months straight.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's not fun.
No, I would be very done with that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That would be like the thing I hear all the time about people who go to Mexico who are not Mexican, getting pulled over within 5 minutes of entering this
city.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the country, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes. Depending on which city you fall into, you could be in Baja, California, Mexico, or you could be in Tijuana, wherever you pull in at, because there's different spots where you can pull into. But yeah,
because the officer is not African American.
Oh, doesn't matter. Even if the officer is African American. Remember when I was telling you before the podcast started? I'll give you guys a little thing where I take a lot of quotes and concepts and I try to build upon them and make them better If not, I mean, not better like in like making it better so it makes my cause sound better. I mean, I make it better so that way it helps a lot of people understand. But through Malcolm X, it's really easy because he always said that there was always going to be a battle between the field Negro and the house Negro. Well, in this case, the field Negro is the everyday man. I mean, there are those limited cases where you do see a cop beating up a white dude or a woman or groping up and raping. That's fucked up, you know?
Yeah.
But that's the difference, is that they don't understand. And as Paul Mooney would explain it, is they get their nigga wake-up call. When you have an African-American cop, they don't see themselves as African-American anymore. They see themselves as blue. Uh-huh. They're all blue. The difference is that cop that's his partner, or not his partner, but is in the same building as him, district or whatever you want to call it, is in the same building as him. If they both go undercover, he's not going to know him. We've already seen a case of that where a police officer got shot in the back and they were in the same district, but one was undercover. And he's like, I didn't know he was a police officer. How do you not know? You work with the motherfucker every day. It's because they don't see. You're not one of the gang. You're not a house Negro when you're wearing field Negro clothes.
Right.
If he was wearing his police uniform, yeah, you would have known. Oh, he's a police officer. But he was in his street clothes, which means that they only saw him as a Negro. Someone doing something bad, and we need to make sure that he never does it again.
Right.
He was more outraged that his own brothers did that to him than it happening in the country at a regular day basis. He has the house Negro mentality.
Okay.
Is that kind of explain it a little better?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was like another version you said where it involves the uneducated, easily influenced.
Yeah.
What term did you use?
The weak-minded, weak-willed. Are you talking about the Chris Rock one?
I think so.
Where it was talking about there's the difference between a black man and a nigga?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Where he says, your nigger is the uneducated, easily influenced, will follow the crowd group mentality.
Mm-hmm. And you see that every day. I mean, when I was growing up in, Philadelphia and Atlantic City, there was a lot of times where you saw them where they wanted to just get fast money. I mean, yeah, everybody wants to get out of their surroundings if it's bad, but they're not considering the long term. They want to consider the short term. Like, I want this money right now. Okay, you could have that kind of money if you would just work a regular job. Granted, yes, I know nobody's going to fucking hire you, but it doesn't mean you can't stop. I mean, in Atlantic City, when I went back there the last time, I had 2 jobs. I worked at UPS, and I worked inside of a casino as a security guard.
Yeah.
I had 2 jobs. I barely slept. And I lived in a hotel room that was covered in roaches. But I made it work because I didn't want to. I didn't want to have to do what they wanted me to do.
The easy money way.
Yeah, the easy money way.
The lowbrow, low education.
It's not so much lowbrow, low education. It's the ones with loss of hope. To know that they could probably never get hired. Or they've already got it in their mind. Easily defeated.
Okay,
Let me just say that.
Yes,
the easily defeated. Because you could be white, black, Mexican, whatever. Right. If you're easily defeated, it's over. You're going to look for the quick, get-rich-quick schemes.
Yes, I agree.
It doesn't matter how big of a consequences could be. Uh-huh. Not the payoff. You're making sure that the payoff's going to be huge. You just don't care about the consequences until the consequences are knocking on your door, and then you're scrambling trying to make things work, and it's not working out.
Yeah.
So,
compared to the people who are highly educated, are not easily influenced, think for themselves, and
it's not even about education. It's the mind frame itself. It's just the mind frame. If you're easily defeated, or if you're strong-willed, you know what I mean? If you're easily defeated, you're always going to look for the quick rich schemes. Doesn't matter if you have a high education or not. I've seen people with PhDs in neuroscience and astrophysics. They're bartenders and bouncers. You want to know why? Because they thought their dream job was going to be working for Yale, and it didn't work out.
Yeah. Or the recession happened, and now they're just stuck there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and I have other friends that literally did. You know, they busted their asses off. They worked on the boardwalk pushing those carts, you know, that people would sit in, and they would push them up and down the boardwalks.
It's called rickshaw?
It's kind of like a rickshaw, but you push from behind.
Huh, okay.
Yeah. If you look it up online, you'll see it. It usually happens in the summertime. Excuse me. And, yeah, they started there until they found another job. And then they found another job. And then they would start growing. If they didn't like that job, they'd continue working that job until they found one they liked. You know? It has everything to do with mentality, and I would have to say mentality and willpower.
Okay.
Has nothing to do with education.
Okay.
You know? I mean, yeah, you can have the shittiest education in the world, but still come up with how to find testicular cancer by peeing on a damn pregnancy test. You know what I mean?
All right.
You might want to look that one up because a little kid actually did it. Huh. That's how he found out. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that, I guess, deals with the house Negro to the field Negro.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were talking about white privilege.
Yeah. Sorry, it moved into...
It happened. That's why it's called Ramble On.
No, it just kind of moved into police brutality, which is another thing that happens with white privilege. That's why I was trying to bring it up. And to thank you for bringing it back in, is because of the fact that we have to live with certain expectations walking into establishments. Okay. Or dealing with day-to-day activities. We have to think of it as a different thing. A different kind of outlook. You could see yourself as, I'm just going to drive to the bank. We have to see it as, we've got to go to the bank and get home as soon as possible. Because the more likely we are outside, the longer of a chance, the bigger of a chance that something could happen.
Because of racial profiling. Racial
profiling, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Well,
because if someone's blind, they're not going to know to hate you.
Yeah, exactly. No matter how much, what's his name? Dave Chappelle wants to make it out to be.
I guess funny.
But I mean, if you think about it, that skit actually lets you know that racism is learned. It's never taught. It's taught. It's never ingrained.
Correct.
Even though you can throw a certain theory out there that yes, it can be kind of ingrained into the social status of a society due to the fact that it's been here since time immemorial.
Right.
So, I mean, okay, so I think we've covered that one.
So,
where was the next one that you wanted to go with?
You were talking about white. You said that white privilege is being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, legally stuff, without thinking about being harassed, compared to the
harassed at a lower rate. Let's just throw it out there.
Yes.
Let's just say for in a perfect world, you would be harassed at a lower rate.
A significantly lower rate.
A dramatic lower rate. Not a significant. I would say dramatically lower rate.
I would say like just fun statistic would be like 1 out of every 10 times I would go to the bank, I would be accosted by some reason for me to get a negative response.
Yes.
Compared to a black person's 1 out
I'd
of
say
every
5
2.
to 6. 5 to 6.
1 out of every 5 to 6.
Yeah.
So yeah, like almost like a double or more rate of being in a negative situation.
And, it's not a 100%. You can't take that as fact because there's no way to really kind of pull those numbers.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen because you do have the exaggerators. You do have the ones that want to downplay it. You know what I mean? Because they don't want to seem to look either scared or, frightened. is another one. Mentally frightened. I would have to say mentally frightened.
Yeah.
You know.
Let's see. So, I think it's going pretty well. I mean, I've learned something today.
Oh, okay.
Which is always a plus. I'm always interested in learning where it comes from, why is it still happening, and what caused it.
Well, that's where the economic standing comes in, is where it started. It started in economic standing because, like I said before, the Irish had to deal with our bullshit too.
Oh, yeah.
But then when it all came out and said and dry, and they got themselves a little piece of, I hate to, throw a little song in there, piece of the pie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, it moved down to that. You know what I mean? So, on an economic standpoint, it started with, I'm a king. I'm better than all my subjects. And then when it became a democracy, it was, well, fuck, I'm rich. I'm better than these poor motherfuckers. Well, some of these poor motherfuckers need somebody else to look down on. So they don't have to uplift themselves.
Yeah.
It's a defeated person,
Defeated person's kind.
Yeah. It's a mindset right there. So, if you can blame someone else for your problems, who would you rather do? Blame yourself or blame someone else?
It's always easier to blame somebody else.
Yeah, because that means you don't have to fix it, they do.
Yeah.
So.
And that way it's also not your fault.
Exactly. So I think that's where it came from originally. I mean, I could get more in depth with it, but I would want to do a little more research to really, really throw it out there. You know what I mean? Really, really stick it in there good. But to combat it, honestly.
Oh, thank you for reminding me. I wanted to interrupt it because reverse racism.
Oh, you want me to throw that out there?
Yes.
Reverse racism is a bullshit term. It's a bullshit term. It's a bullshit term. It's a bullshit term. You've known me how long? And I told you that since the first night I met you because Rob brought that shit up.
Because reverse racism is a terrible term.
If you look at reverse as a definition can you look that up for me, please? Or actually, yeah, here.
Reverse racism, what I've been told, is basically one of two things. Either African Americans being racist against white people.
That's the main thing, is because they wanted their own thing. But I'm going to pull up the definition of reverse.
Right. Which is usually the opposite of.
Hold on.
And racism, the opposite of racism would be, holding hands in peace and shit.
Yeah.
And being cool. And getting a hand job from your colored or non-colored neighbor,
Okay.
Hand job from anybody is good. I don't care what color or nationality or sex you are. I mean, you don't have to watch. You just have to enjoy.
Let's see.
Especially the hardest thing is when you're getting a hand job or a blow job from somebody or eating somebody out and you look up, am I doing good? The awkward eye contact just fucking kills.
Okay, so reverse as an adjective is the opposite or contrary in position, direction, order, or character. Now let's look up racism here in a minute.
Racism is just a stupidity.
Yeah, I know. I wish it did.
Yeah.
But let's see. Let me go ahead and put that in.
A person who does not love. That's racism.
Let's see.
Opposite of hate is love.
Okay. Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. So if you add the two together, what do you get? The opposite belief that you are superior due to race. I think that's it. Based on race.
Yeah.
Or, as you call it, physical appearance. Due to the melatonin in your skin.
Yep.
So, when people coined the phrase reverse racism, when they were basically saying that white people were being more prejudiced from the black community and called it reverse racism, they were the dumbest motherfuckers on the face of the earth, because basically what they were saying is people are being overly nice to me because I'm white. And basically saying the fact that you like your racism.
Yeah. Yeah. Or it should just be called regular
Racism. Yeah.
Yeah. You're not trying to be overly nice to me because racism is just being racist.
Yeah. Yeah. But they wanted to say it that way because they needed to coin the term, because of the fact that racism is so stagnant from white people being racist towards.
Because a lot of people perceive right now is from, I would say, many a year ago, from like 1600s on up to about 1970 or so.
Depending when your country, state, or city started acting right. Yeah.
Where people of a color that was not of pure non-melatonin of any shape or form, or even your facial structure was different, you were below.
Fucking troglodytes.
Yeah. So you were made fun of.
They weren't even around!
I know. And nowadays, since more equality, more voice, people of other races, mostly, which has been stereotyped African Americans, that they are now being racist towards white people for their ancestors or themselves being racist when it's not even present or shown.
It's still just racism.
Exactly.
Not reverse.
No.
But the sad thing is they shot themselves in the foot when they made that, because basically they're saying that, yes, white people can be racist, but when black people do it, it's reverse to us. So you guys are basically, not you in general, but to paint people in a broad brush, white people think that racism is a term for just them.
Yeah.
It's not.
And have you also heard the phrase or seen, black people can't be racist because we're the ones being disparaged.
Yeah, I've seen that. I kind of laughed at it. I mean, there's some truth to it, but it depends on the author that coined it.
To me, it doesn't
depends
matter.
on the author.
Anyone or anything can be racist.
It can be. It can. But if you're coming from where you want equality standpoint, it is not being racist. If you're looking down on me because you're white, just use me and you as an example.
Okay.
If you're looking down at me because you're white, but I'm being angry and saying shit to you because I just want to be equal, it is not racism.
No, if you want to be equal, that's different.
Yeah.
But if you're going, man, you're racist because you're white.
Yeah, that's just dumb stupidity, racist. Yes.
I'm like, no, that's racist.
Yeah.
Against me. You're saying racist just because I'm white?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. No, I ain't racist. I'm black. I've actually had that conversation in a Walmart.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. That sounds bad.
In a Temecula Walmart, I had that conversation that I was racist because I was white. And I said, isn't that racist itself proclaiming hatred upon somebody else because of my skin color? Black people can't be racist. We're the one being disparaged. This nation is against us. I'm like, I just walked away.
Yeah.
Because, that's a thing I've also heard as well, from other people. Like, yeah, I've had that happen too. I've seen entire articles dedicated to black people are not racist. It's impossible for them to be racist. And they list many things. You can do a Google search. I came across 6 different ones through the past 8 years.
It's sad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. But I think anything can be racist. It shouldn't happen. We shall just get the hell along and just do what the hell we want.
Finish your sentence. By all means. I'm listening to you wholeheartedly. I know. It's really hard. It's really hard. I tried to explain this to one of our other friends. I really did. And they just didn't really get it. The only way that I've seen some people actually get it, it doesn't work for everyone, is I told them to stick out their hand. Stick out their hand.
Yep, hands out. Yep.
Imagine it this color.
Yeah.
See what I mean? You get it. You're not afraid of it. I've seen actual people shudder and pull their hand away.
Because you put your hand next to theirs?
No, because they have to imagine themselves this color.
Imagine themselves as black?
Yeah.
It'd be cool if I could just change whatever colors I want at any time.
Yeah, but I mean, imagine yourself as being black or Latino or, you know...
Or any race that has been disparaged upon.
Yes, exactly.
I understand.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was one of the ways that I've used it before. And it's a real eye-opener for some people. It really is. Mm-hmm. And it's like, holy fuck, I never thought about that. You know?
I've actually thought about it quite a bit because it's...
Really?
It's interesting because... For me, this is my personal belief. I'm not trying to say anything in any way, but I would think that I envy the cultural freedom of the African American people.
Okay.
It is very hard in American society to get in trouble for saying Black Power.
Okay.
As a white guy,
I already know where you're going with this, and I already have the deepest rebuttal. If
I say anything with any type of positive affirmation of my race in any way, that person would be attacked by everybody, including their own racial.
Okay.
Which is interesting.
You want to know why? Has nothing to do with you. I swear to God. I swear to everything that is holy, it has nothing to do with
That's only a small part that I'm talking about. Just small.
I know.
Yeah.
But I need to address this
go
because
ahead.
I feel like you kind of, it's kind of hurting you a little bit because you can't have pride in yourself. So, I want to address this. It's nothing about you. It has nothing to do with you, bro.
I can't be having pride over me being Italian. That's
what I mean. You know where you came from, right? You know where your ancestry follows into, correct?
Yeah, at least
more or less. You can kind of narrow it down to one or two countries.
And that you were saying that the African American people had no original indigenous country.
No, it's not that. It's that we don't know our history anymore because it was destroyed. The minute we were put on those bolts, it was destroyed. I can't tell you, oh yeah, I'm from Nigeria, or I'm from Zimbabwe, or I'm from Madagascar, or I'm from a tribe in the Congo, or I'm in a tribe from,
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you where my ancestors were from even 100 years ago. Well,
if you looked hard enough, would you be able to find documents or records?
I probably wouldn't, honestly, because...
You couldn't go to Ellis Island or something like that and find documents.
No, probably not.
Well, then you're the very few. There's a lot of people that can trace themselves back. I mean, for God's sakes, that's why I give Rob such a hard time.
Yeah.
And stuff. He got mad about the same thing, and he was generally butthurt.
Right.
And I kept telling him, I was like, you got Norwegian pride, right? You got that pride. You know where you came from. You're Norwegian through and through. Yeah. Okay, cool. Tell me in the record books where I'm from.
I can tell you where you're from, James.
Where?
Your supposed, quote, people were the very first people.
No, I mean, I'm talking about, can you narrow it down to one country in Africa where my DNA ran from, where it originated from? I mean, I'm talking great-great-great-great-grandpappy was swimming in my great-great-great-great-grandpappy's nuts. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, all people originated, the first people were scientifically recorded to be dark-skinned because all life started at the equator.
Yeah, I get that. But you can still look back, not just you, or maybe you might be an exception, but Rob can look back.
Because my family crest is supposed to be Belgian.
Yeah, see? But you can still say it's close to Belgian.
But also Italian.
Yeah.
So I'm confused.
Migration. That's all I can say for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you can narrow it down to 1 to 2
within the
countries.
Past 200-300 years.
Yeah.
After that, no idea.
Yeah, because I don't think records were really handled that well.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
I'm talking pre-America.
Uh-huh.
Pre-America.
How far back?
Yeah, how far back can I go?
Yeah.
Pre-America. I can't. I've tried. I can't.
You also don't know because you're adopted.
No, I'm talking about the adoptive family. Like, I went back. I called grandparents. I called great-grandparents.
Of your biological?
No, not of the biological, the adopted.
Okay, and your adopted parents are
The ones I live with now, or the ones that
are
raised
they,
me
are
from
they
3
both
months old.
African American?
One's African American and one's Puerto Rican. I used my father's side, which is African American,
Okay, and
just to prove the point.
Okay, can you tell me how far back you got?
I got back to about a field in Kentucky.
What years are we talking?
I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head.
1700s, 1800s, 1900s.
I couldn't tell you right off the bat, but I still have my family tree kind of thing that I did in 7th grade that'll probably be able to tell me.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, personally, records were terrible before, like, I would say 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
And a lot of times because of wars.
Yeah.
Entire families died out or entire histories were lost.
Exactly.
Civilizations included.
Yeah. But that's what I'm getting at, is that you can still, past America, the only one that I can have go back that far is my mother's side, which is Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
That's the only one, because she's...
Uh-huh.
I don't even know how to explain it. Great-grandparents came from Spain to Puerto Rico. Grandparents came from Puerto Rico to New York.
So no, that's first generation then.
She's first generation when the grandparents went from Puerto Rico to New York?
The grandparents from Puerto Rico to New York?
Yeah. So the parents, her parents, and then her.
Yes. That'd be second gen.
Oh, okay. So she's second gen. Okay. Sorry, it's confusing for me.
It's American generation.
Yeah.
It would be her parents.
Yeah, okay. So she's second generation. That's as far back as I can get. With hers, I didn't go back too far, because once it said the word Spain, I was like, it's outside of America.
Yeah.
I'm done with that side. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. I can go back.
But you can go back
3-4 generations.
But you can go back past
America.
Uh-huh.
And I can honestly say there's probably lots of African Americans who can.
Oh, of course.
Past.
Yes, there is. But those are the ones that came after slavery. I'm talking about before.
Uh-huh.
That's the ones.
And at the same notion as this is that not all of civilizations had written word.
Oh, I understand that.
So you can't really go back if your culture or your civilization didn't have it.
It did if you were sitting there, okay, black, da-da-da-da-da.
A lot of it was written.
Male.
Not written, spoken.
Yeah. No, it was on the logbooks of the sales. Not where they came from.
No, I'm not talking about slavery. I'm talking about before slavery.
Okay, yeah.
I'm talking before slavery. Like, we can even talk like 800s even. 600s, 800s.
Yeah, there was no written word. Yeah, I understand that.
Verbally.
That's why I said past America. Past America. You can ask any African American that knows his history up to slavery, knows that he can never find anything past that to find the origin of country. He don't give a fuck about his tribe. He don't give a fuck about the tribe, or if it's Northeast Congo or Southeast, or Southwest fucking Zimbabwe. Wants to know the country, because you have Italian Day parades, you have Puerto Rican Day parades, you have all this other stuff. We don't have that. We don't. So we have to mull ourselves together into one race. Black power. Now, is it right?
I can argue this. Black History Month.
Okay.
You get an entire month of history, which is awesome.
Cool, you get 11. What's 1? And we get the shortest one of the year.
So you're saying that because I'm white, I'm American, and that's how I'm...
No.
Okay.
Okay, you're taking it completely out of the way. And you're trying to twist words, and it's not going to work. Okay. I'm saying the fact of the matter that you just said no more than 2 minutes ago, you can trace it back to either Belgium or fucking Italian, correct?
Supposedly, yes.
Yes. You can find out within 2 countries outside of America, you know exactly where you came from.
That was the last place before records disappeared.
Exactly. But they were outside of America, correct? Outside of America, correct? Yes. Okay. Some of us can't do that.
Can't go past the American history.
Yes.
That's where it disappeared, yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about. So when we can't find our own, we just mull together and make it one.
Uh-huh.
That's the difference, because you guys can't say, oh, white power, and then turn around and say Italian pride. It's one or the other. You don't get both. Now, if everybody knew where the hell they fucking came from outside of America, I would be all for abolishing the word brown pride, black pride, Latino pride, everything. You better know where your country you came from, or better rep one of them, or shut the fuck up.
I think we should just rep the entire thing. I mean, it's like, yeah, we're alive. We all came from the fucking planet. Good for us.
Yeah, but we can't get that far yet. We're not that far. I get where you're at. Yeah. We need to get there. We ain't there yet. I mean, we got so much other shit to fix. We ain't there yet.
You could say you rip the entire equator.
Yeah.
And we could say we rip the entire places that were shitty. The equator's got all the good shit. It's got all the awesome, really cool species of life where everything originated from, and then everywhere else, like towards like up, gets all the shit.
I just want you guys to take notice and record the fact that he said that the equator, the most hottest motherfucking part of this whole goddamn earth, is the coolest part. The hottest.
Figuratively
the
speaking,
hottest
would you like me to say
part of the world. Not some tropical place, maybe 13 to 27 degrees above and below.
You want to throw some semantics around?
He said the equator, where the sun beats down worse than a 12-inch penis trying to come in through the back of your head. Okay, so go ahead.
Semantics aside.
Yeah.
The coolest place in terms of, if I should use a different word, most interesting and had the most diverse different kinds of life. Species of life, yes.
Okay, I can get that. When a leaf is the size of like a skateboard, yeah, I'm gonna have to say that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, all life started from the equator. It worked its way out.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
You could say that you can claim 3/4 of the world itself as your home.
We could. But there's so many countries in that equator.
That's the best part.
Yeah, I know this. I get what you're saying. We're not there yet the American people.
I know, unfortunately.
You are wishful thinking right now.
Yes, that's my entire life.
Yeah, wishful thinking. We're not there yet.
We'll claim all these tiny islands in Antarctica. Anything that's covered in a shit ton of snow that you don't want to live will be there.
Yeah. As long as I got plenty of fish, I'm good.
Right. Back way far to what I was trying to originally go at. What you were saying is the reason why I actually like African American culture itself is if you have no supposed back history,
we can make our own.
And you can make it as awesome as you want because you don't have anything that you have to live up to.
That's the cool thing. Is that we don't have to make it up. We see the struggles as a badge of pride. We don't have to make it as cool as we want. Do you not understand? Like, we chose to live and endure.
Where?
Slavery. We chose to live and endure slavery. We chose to live and endure the civil rights movement. We chose to live and endure certain injustices that happened to everyone else.
So you chose to endure slavery?
Yes.
I'm unsure on how that works.
You had two choices. Either you escaped off the ship and drowned, or you endured because you wanted to live.
So how'd you get in the ship in the first place?
That's a good question, and I don't think we'll ever be able to answer that. There's hundreds of theories, but I wouldn't consider any one of them to be right.
Well, the biggest one that's been proven by historians so far, war. You have warring factions within a single country.
You mean the same historians that wanted to make it, less nice or less harmful of a word to say, oh, we're not the only ones that enslaved people. These niggas did it too.
No, I'm talking about from like 10,000 BC.
Oh, yeah.
Old school, where you have warring factions in the same state.
Yeah.
One side wins. What do you do with all those people who lost? Capture them, either make them work for you, or you sell them for some other resource you don't have to somebody who has something you want.
Yeah. But here's the thing. here's the thing that everybody seems to forget. Here's the little fucking awesome thing. We still gave them rights.
Gave who rights?
We gave the losing faction rights.
Okay, so what island are you from then? If you say we gave them rights.
I'm saying as a tribe in general. If you're going to take his as truth, you're going to have to take this as truth too, because this is actually coming out of the mouth of a black dude.
Uh-huh.
If you give someone lesser rights, and this is actually coming from a black dude that lived there, not a white dude that studied it. He grew up in the same tribe forever, and it's been handed down that they gave the losing states rights. They gave them rights. They were almost as civilians. They were still less than, which was a form of racism.
But they were still slaves because they lost. They were being used as tools by the victor.
Exactly, but it doesn't mean they were being sold. They still had rights. They didn't have to go. They didn't have to go.
Then why were they sold to people from a different land? They weren't like captured and raided. They weren't Scandinavian.
Mm-mm.
They weren't Vikings.
No.
They were handed over and bought, like you said.
You really think they were handed over and bought? You really think deep down that they were handed over and bought?
Because if you have a place where you don't have the technology or the resources to pull something out from the earth to trade with, you trade with whatever you have on hand.
I understand that. But if you really think that the fucking deal was as straight up as you're saying, you're ludicrous.
I didn't say they all were, but that's the majority, yeah.
I wouldn't say it was even the majority.
Okay.
I wouldn't even say that.
And so
that's downplaying slavery to the most fucking minuscule level.
That's just how slavery's been over centuries.
I understand that.
Right.
I'm talking about when you say, oh, this black dude owned slaves and he sold it to some white guy. No, that's not how it went down.
I'm not saying he owned like slaves. He owned people who lost.
Yeah, he owned people who lost and sold it to white people. That's not how it went down.
Okay, so if the historian can tell me.
Okay, fine. You want to really know what happened?
Yes.
And this is actually coming from a dude that actually lived in Sierra Leone, and he moved here. Guess what? He moved here. You want to know why? How he moved here? Because he stole a diamond from the people that were fucking owning his ass. He moved here, and he's probably still in the United States Navy to this day. He was the chief's fucking son.
Okay.
This is how it went down. Basically what happened is that, yes, there would be wars. You're not believing a fucking word of this. I could see it in your face.
No.
Okay, because in your face it looked condescending as fuck.
No,
okay.
I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm awake and fully listening to this.
Okay. What happened is basically, yes, you're right. When the losing would go with the winning and stuff, they were kind of less than. But it's not like they would rape their women or try to kill off their men after it was over. Once surrender happened, it was over.
And we're just talking in the last 200 years.
No, I'm talking way before that.
How far away before?
I'm talking...
Because I'm talking like literal slavery.
I'm talking the boats just showed up.
Are you talking about African-American slavery?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm talking pre-white boys showed up and said, or actually, let's get this fucking right. When those Spanish boys showed up, do-do-do-do-do-do,
yeah,
you know, in their nice little pointy fucking hats,
I was
metal
going
hats.
global slavery, that's why. I was going global slavery.
Oh, you were going global. Okay,
yeah.
See, no.
Because, to me, it had the same point as,
Mm-hmm.
You had two warring factions.
I wish you would have explained that further, because this story now has no meaning.
No, but it still does, because at the same time, that's what also happened in every single country.
Mm-hmm.
In every single country, no one has always perfectly got along.
No.
Of course, happened in every country.
No.
So, like I said, even during the slavery of the African American people, when they were sold off or stolen or taken from their land in Africa or South America or whatever islands they lost a war to somebody else, and they got sold off because that was whatever resource they had to sell. And you're saying, so continue your story.
Yeah. Okay. So Spanish boys showed the fuck up.
Yeah.
And basically this is how it goes down.
Yeah.
They weren't sold as like actual slaves.
As a resource.
They were sold as a resource and as a workforce.
Yeah, wasn't that what I was saying? They were being sold as a resource when you have nothing else to trade.
Yeah, but not in the way that everybody else seems to contrive it.
Okay.
They're saying, oh, this slave was sold because he needs him. He doesn't need him in this field, but he needs him in this field. No, there was promise of land in the deal.
So you're saying they were duped?
Yes.
So the Spanish rolled up in their big boat, like, hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah,
hey,
we just conquered this new country. We need a workforce.
And they're like, we have no place.
Yeah, we basically will help. We will help you cultivate this new land.
Come on board, we'll even give you pieces of it.
Yes.
And like, okay, cool, let's go on this cool boat.
Click, click.
Wait, what? Now we're being captive on this boat? Thought that we were going to New World to help you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, we're the Spanish. You remember the Inquisition, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which they unfortunately never got to... Yeah. Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
And so, now that's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. And back to our conversation of the history of recent times slavery, when we learned about that the Spanish came in, told a little lie, and got some free labor out of it, and started something that turned into something really terrible, which was terrible to begin with, but got even worse. So, slavery sucks. Don't do it. Racism sucks. Get rid of it. Let's all be humans instead of races. Because you know what? Aliens are out there. And those assholes want my asshole. So, cultural appropriation
versus
cultural appreciation.
Okay.
Where's that fine line?
Where's the fine line? Okay. Well, I can give you a couple of terms of a cultural appropriation right off the top of my head.
Yes.
Okay. And I know this is going to sound racist, but this is the only context I can put it in. Do apologize right off the bat.
Racist bastard.
Yes, right. All right. So, basically, what we've got here is giant lips. When you see them like Jay-Z, or you see it on Beyonce or Serena Williams and stuff like that, giant African monkey lips.
That's fucked up.
You see them on a white woman, what do they give the advertisement for?
Lipstick?
No, fuller, more voluptuous lips. Sensual. See the difference? You're taking the best part of certain cultures and you're repositioning it as the best part of yourselves while downplaying it on someone else.
Okay.
Giant ass. On a white woman, full. Fat. P-H-A-T, not F-A-T. Right?
But isn't that considered bad for a woman to have a large rear?
No, actually, the hips... this could be easily refuted with science, but I've always heard that wider hips means easier childbirth. I could be completely fucking wrong.
It's true.
Okay, thank you. I don't
larger hips and larger bust size.
Yeah. Makes it for easier childbirth. Now.
Well, the bust size not for childbirth, but for feeding. Having a larger store volume of food for infant.
Yeah. Now, hips and ass. You know, it being wide on a woman, everybody loves it. Calls them snow bunnies, and that's a nice little term that you can try to use on your wife. It'll be fucking hilarious.
Really? I would just call them like, just
booty butt or yeah. On a black woman, they see it as, what is the word they like to use?
Awesome.
No, some people do, but a lot of the media calls it
bubble butt?
Something a little more
rap songs.
Yeah, that's in rap songs, but I'm talking about actual social media, like trying to promote something. They say that it's more derogatory on one culture than on another, but it originally started in one culture, that they're making it a derogatory.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Okay. So, cultural appreciation.
Appreciation is seeing both as the exact equal. Big lips look awesome on white and black women. Make it easier for you.
How is that appreciating a culture?
Okay, I guess it's a little different. Okay, let me do it this way. Let's say you pick up a box of seasoning. Does it say tribal or traditional? That's the difference between a cultural appropriation and appreciation.
Oh, can we try and use a real world example? When there was a 6-year-old or 8-year-old little girl who really liked
her for best friends cornrows. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes. That little kid was showing appreciation.
But everyone said
she was doing a cultural appropriation. She's not.
Giving her hate mail, death threats.
That's the one time where you can actually say that was appreciation, because she said it looked beautiful on her friend and she wanted to look just like her friend.
To be as beautiful
as her. Yes.
Right.
She was seeing her as an equal and she wanted to be as beautiful together.
Right.
Now, if her parents said, I know my daughter looks better than this bitch in these braids, that's appropriation.
Yes. How about the more recent one where a girl in high school wore a Chinese dress to prom?
I think that was just poor fashion choice. Has nothing to do with the cultural appropriation or appreciation. Even though she was wearing a hooker dress, which... like I said, poor fashion choices.
It was not a traditional Chinese dress. It looked like it.
It looked like it.
It was in the style.
But it was in the style of the old hookers.
Yeah, but I don't see how it's a cultural appropriation. I see that
it wasn't. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was poor style choice. You're going to prom. We all know what happens after prom. You don't have to dress up like a hooker to do so.
Yeah, although specifically, I went to prom twice.
I know that threw you off a little bit, but yeah.
I went to prom twice, and it never ended in copulation.
Yeah. Oh, mine did. One did. The other one, I got cocked blocked.
Yeah.
Not by a male, a female.
No. Like, instead of block and join. Yeah. As long as she was, of age and hot.
Oh, they both were.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't 18. I graduated high school at 17.
Same here.
Yeah, so... I didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. Another thing of appreciation would be like, I thought another real world example was a girl who was 10 wanted to have a geisha themed birthday party because she really thought they were really cool. They were elegant. They were stylish.
That is appropriate. That is appreciation. She appreciates the culture enough to add all aspects. That's the difference, is when you're willing to appreciate all aspects of the culture, not cherry pick the ones that look awesome, that's the difference.
But that's still a small form of appreciation. If you still like something of this culture and you want it to become yours, you're like, I really like this. This is like the coolest thing ever. Can I please join in this?
Yeah, it's awesome to join. I get where you're coming at. And the way you're saying it is awesome. But the way they're talking about it, the difference between appropriation and appreciation is you're not saying, oh, Dragon Ball is now ours. See what I'm saying? We like it more than the creators that made it. We can make it better. Fuck them.
No, see, Hollywood tried that and it was an abomination.
It was an abomination, but they tried. They tried to appropriate the fuck out of that bitch, and it massively fucking tanked.
Now, see, that right there was a perfect explanation of appropriation.
Yes. Yes.
They're like,
appreciation is that 10 little girl that wanted box braids because her friend, she wanted to look as beautiful as her friend. Yeah. Appreciation was the chick that wanted to have the fucking geisha themed birthday party because she embraced the whole part of that culture. I mean, not all of it. She's 10 years old and she better not be. Otherwise, I'd be beating the fuck out of the dad and the mom for child sexual abuse.
You just took this dark turn.
Geishas were the classy form of escorts.
Prostitution.
Yeah, escorts. Let's just call them what they are. They're escorts.
Yeah, no.
But some of them didn't have sex. Actually, a lot of them didn't have sex. So they would be considered escorts, even though the escorts of today have sex now. But the right ones don't.
Yep.
The ones that still do.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Because
this one's going to be a really short one, so this is going to be a real short conversation on this one because it's really quite simple.
To us, it should be cut and dry, but to many people, anything involving liking and using another culture's...
But you have to embrace the good and the bad. You can't just cherry pick. I mean, there could be cultural appreciation in religion.
But I mean, there's also a certain point where you can take it too far as well.
Yes. You can always have those extremes.
Because if you have the cultural appreciation to where like you're straight up converting everything, then it's seen as even worse of a bad thing. Like people go, no, you can't be us. You're this. We are this. You can't be us.
Those are the extremes. Those are the extremists that see it as they're trying to call it as it is, but they're doing it in the wrong way. Okay, case in point. Remember when the big thing went on with Justin Timberlake on Twitter and he had to draw out this long apology and shit for something he said about the Grammys and shit? People threw a culture appropriation at his ass to no end.
For what?
Because he took African American R&B styles to make him what he is now. He started at Star Search as a country singer. It didn't work for him.
He was in the Mickey Mouse Club.
Before that. That's where he made his start.
Okay.
Was
Star
Search with
10?
Ed McMahon. Yes, actually he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Ed McMahon's Star Search. Yeah. And then he moved to the Mickey Mouse Club. And then he moved to NSYNC. And then he moved into the R&B
because solo career,
because have you noticed that none of the other ones made it? Because all of them were doing the same amount of music, the same pop. He's the one that moved into R&B.
Something different,
and blew up.
Yeah.
And he never gave... And the reason why they were getting so mad about it is because he didn't give thanks to the people that allowed him to do that. And what I mean by allowed is gave him the resources to be like, yeah, dude, come into the R&B section. Like, you can make a fucking shit ton of money here. He went in and was like, I'm part of the R&B section. I'm going to make a shit ton of money. And the people that helped me get here, that were the front runners of R&B, bye.
So how do you feel about Eminem then?
Eminem gives straight appreciation. Every CD you will always hear it. In every CD you will hear it once or twice. He gives appreciation. He knows where he came from. He knows the culture. Everything. He gave it. And he gets mad props from every other rapper out there. They're like basically saying that he is
the only one who did it right.
Exactly. You want to know the difference between a cultural appropriation and cultural appreciation? Appreciation, Eminem. Appropriation, Vanilla Ice. There you go. There you go.
Oh, you had to go there.
But it's perfect example.
Yeah. Because, I mean, Eminem worked hard to get there.
Exactly.
To get their approval.
Yeah.
He's like, I know I'm white.
I worked my way up.
Yeah. He didn't start from stardom. He started from the bottom, worked all the way up.
Yep. See how short that was? And we basically gave you the steps to combat it. I mean, it was pretty cut and dry. You have to embrace the good and the bad. You can't just embrace and cherry pick what you want.
To a certain extent. It's not a perfect thing.
No, I was letting you elaborate. Go ahead.
It's like, where do you see it as being the main point of a culture? You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so if you say you love the African American culture, do you love cornrows? What would be a stereotypical thing of African American fashion?
Well, I wouldn't say it was cornrows. I would not say that. It's more so bald head. Really? Cornrows is mostly a fashion statement these days.
Because cornrows are cool, but they're really hard to pull off.
dude, they're hard as fuck and they take forever and they're expensive as hell.
Yes. Afros are cool too.
Yeah. A lot of women.
It takes a lot of work.
They usually just cut their hair off. They're completely bald.
Yes, and wear wigs because it's so much easier. You can have a different hairstyle every day.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that is because of the fact that as a society we were looked down on because of our women's hair being like the men's hair.
What?
So they always thought that beauty was in straight hair. It's not. That's why you're seeing this big movement now where a lot of models are using their natural hair.
Yeah.
And shit. And it's fucking awesome.
Right?
It's fucking awesome because finally, we're actually seeing people actually liking natural parts of themselves. They're not getting pushed down by the media or society. I'm not even going to say the media anymore. Forbid me from ever saying that in this whole conversation anymore. Society. I want to say, instead of media, I want to say society. So
showing its artificial standard.
Yeah, it's artificial standard of beauty. The straight hair, the full lips, the shading of just right. I mean, this is how bad it's gotten.
And the proportion.
There's Latinos that consider themselves white Latinos.
Okay.
How are you going to throw away half your heritage like that? Just because you want to be seen as better than. I couldn't do that.
That's like saying you're half like German, half Jewish. Which side would you want to say you're from?
Either way, I'm going to be called a Nazi.
Really?
If I'm a penny pincher, you're such a Nazi with your money.
Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. Okay, so let's go.
Either way, I'm going to be called a Nazi.
Right. But I understand what you're saying, but it's like, it's how can you throw away half of your heritage just to look better in some other way to succeed?
No, it's so society sees you as more...
Normal?
Not normal. Accepted.
Okay, socially accepted.
Socially accepted, yeah.
Because everyone wants you to look like them.
Yeah.
They don't want your individuality. They want you to look like...
Case in point of appropriation. I don't know if you noticed this story. It came out maybe a couple months ago. This lady, she sent out a whole bunch of job applications in rap form. She's white. Okay. She got a lot of callbacks. And everybody knows if her last name had a African American tone to it, and they've already proven this, she would have never gotten callbacks.
Okay.
And it's already been proven. They took 2 identical resumes. Yeah. I told you about this before. 2 identical resumes. They put a African American name on one and a white guy general name on the other. We can
Caucasian. Go by like Damon Wayne.
Well, I would say Darnell Smith versus
John Smith.
Yeah, you could go with both.
Yeah.
The Caucasian applicant got callbacks 75% of all of them. No, it was 75% of them called back. Of the job employers called back.
Then Porter
it was 45% for the African American one, and it was the same. And they sent them to the same places.
The exact same information.
Exact same. Yeah, just different names. Mm-hmm. So it was basically in a controlled environment. If you want to say anything, the experiment was done in a controlled environment. They sent them to the same places. They sent them to the exact same time from different emails.
Yeah.
So the environments were controlled.
Yeah.
It's the outcome.
That was, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
So
yeah.
It's not like they cheated and were like, oh, we sent this one to Borders and we sent this one to, Harvey Shrine, attorney at law. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
Oh, can we talk about the mechanical corner to end out our conversation?
Sure, we can definitely talk about Mechanic Corner. Definitely. The DIY corner, we can definitely get on that.
It's my favorite.
Awesome. So I'm gonna give you guys, I've been looking some stuff up a little bit, even though, I deal with this on a day-to-day basis and everybody keeps asking me, hey, what's so important about maintenance with your vehicle? Well, the biggest thing is longevity. I do want to say that. If you maintenance your vehicle on time, scheduling wise, it will make your car last a lot longer.
Definitely.
It'll also, which a lot of people don't understand, is that if you make sure that it's always maintenance and you have records, you can actually sell your car for more. Because it shows that it's up to date, that it's not going to break down as much.
Proper maintenance, yes.
Proper maintenance. And, I can give you guys 4 major important maintenance ones that you need to keep on top of regularly. Okay, the first one, everybody knows it. You hate doing it. A lot of DIYers just do it anyway, but they come home smelling like shit. It's your oil, your engine oil.
Yep.
Always has to be done.
Don't just keep topping it off.
Yeah. If you have a leak, fix it. Mm-hmm. Fix it. Please do fix it. If it's something small and you keep on control of it, yes. But after a while, you're going to see how much money you're going to be spending in topping off oil.
I should know.
Yeah. Well, also,
Personally.
with yours, it was a little different. It was a leak. But if you have a serious problem where you're putting in a quart of oil and you're not seeing anything on the ground, you do need to take your car in. You do. Because it's burning oil and it shouldn't be doing that. So there might be something seriously wrong with your vehicle that you don't know about yet. So do take it in. Do take it in, even if it's just to get a random checkup to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
I know this sounds horrible to say because not everybody's got this, but what's $100 to spend instead of $3,000 for a new engine?
Exactly.
I'd rather spend the $100 if I have it.
In preventive maintenance.
And just going there to get it checked if it's burning. If your car's burning oil, it shouldn't be doing that at all.
And always learn where all your fluids are.
Yes. That's a big thing. Make sure you know where every one of your dipsticks, if it comes with it. Some cars do not come with a trans dipstick. Mm-hmm. Those have to be specially checked by a dealership or somebody that knows what they're doing.
Because you've heard of customers, putting oil in the water or the oil in the trans.
I've had people fill up. An old person came one time to a shop I was working at before, and the car came in a tow truck. And he didn't lie about it at all. And because he didn't lie about it, we Goodwilled the engine. Well, my manager Goodwilled the engine. But he couldn't have been no younger than 65 years old. Came in on the tow truck. They dropped the car off. It was probably like a 2010 or a 2012. His wife topped off the oil all the way to the top of the cap with water. She thought that that's where the water went.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not talking about they topped it off to the top of the dipstick. No, I mean that they topped it off to the point where you opened up the cap and that's where the water level was sitting.
Like a radiator.
Yeah, like a radiator. Exactly. So that also, I will give you a little bit on tip on that. That does help out a little bit. Get your MPGs back to normal if you keep on that maintenance schedule. Don't do it too early. Don't do it super late. Kind of get in within, probably I'd say 200 miles of your regular maintenance schedule. And that goes also along with if you're using regular synthetic blend or full synthetic
oil.
So, there's different kinds of, mileage, but there's also one other stipulation that a lot of people don't talk about, which is normal driving conditions and severe driving conditions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing a lot of city driving, that's extreme driving conditions because you're doing a lot of stop and go.
Mm-hmm.
If you're driving more than 50 miles a day, that is severe driving conditions. If your normal temperature of the place that you are living is over 90 degrees, that is severe driving conditions.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be changing your oil a lot more because normal oil goes for 3 months or 3,000 miles. Yeah, that's where the normal and severe driving conditions come in. If you have 3 or 4 in a checklist, and you can pick this up from any shop or anything like that, you can actually look it up on the internet as well. What is considered severe driving conditions for the oil in my car? And if you probably hit about 3 or 4 of those, I would change your oil every 3 months instead of every 3,000 miles. And that's if you're using regular conventional oil. Now, if you're doing synthetic or synthetic blend, I would check with the manufacturers to let you know how much longer you can go.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is some cars out there like BMWs and Mercedes-Benz that only strictly take synthetic oil. And they last a lot longer. So it could be a little bit more. It could be 5 months for you guys. You know, for the severe driving conditions. It could be 75,000 miles or 5 months. Could be the same, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's also. Another thing that gets people is your brakes.
Oh gosh, yes.
Always get your brakes checked. Always. Because just because you can stop doesn't mean there's not something wrong.
Yeah. That's my own thing right there. Is 2 months ago, my wife's like, my brakes feel like they don't stop as much as they usually do, but they still work.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, taking you longer to stop? Yeah.
That means you have low brake pads.
We took them off, found out.
Mm-hmm. They were damn near metal to metal.
Yep.
Yeah. Well,
but
here's another
not
thing.
in the way that was visible.
Mm-hmm.
If you look from the outside,
it doesn't look like they're metal to metal. To the untrained eye.
That's right. As soon as you took off the wheel, though.
Yeah, it's completely metal to metal.
Yeah.
But here's another thing that people don't understand. The slide pins on the calipers, those sometimes get stuck. And they will wear irregularly, like almost diagonal.
Uh-huh.
Depending if one slide pin is stuck on the top or the one slide pin is stuck on the bottom. So they will wear regularly. You have to get them checked every oil change. You don't have to get them replaced, but at least get them checked. And that's for the pads. Now, if you have brake shoes, make sure that they take them off and make sure that they look clean in there. That there's no dust harboring them, because there is still a lot of cars that still use drum brakes.
Mm-hmm.
So you might want to use those, and you know, if they say, hey, it might need a clean and adjust, just go ahead and do it. Just go ahead and do it.
Because it will save your life later.
Yes. You know, also with the ABS, make sure the ABS works, because all cars these days now have ABS, which is your anti-lock braking system. I know a lot of people don't like ABS because it sucks. And they hate the way the pedal feels underneath their foot because they're used to a lot more person-to-vehicle response.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, so trust me, it helps. It's the difference between your wheels locking up and you having to buy brakes and tires and possibly a front end
Mm-hmm.
or you stopping the right way.
Yeah.
And also, a lot of things people don't understand is, you know, I don't recommend it all the time, but you know, if they do I don't know if it's an alkaline. I don't think it's an alkaline test. I think it's a metal particulate test for the brake fluid that can damage your brake master cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the rubber seals and the grommets inside.
Right, and the pump itself too.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and then, if I can get down to probably, I will have to say the biggest one that everybody gets mad about and that are so damn expensive and you can never understand why, tires.
Gosh, yes.
Gotta love tires, right? Tires are the plight of the plight of America. Okay, a lot of things go into tires. If you're wearing through your tires a lot more than you're used to, there's something inherently wrong. Either A, you have bad shocks, B, you have a bad alignment, or you haven't rotated them in a long time. You need to do a lot of these things. You can't sit on them. You can't sit on them.
And there was tire pressure.
Tire pressure will do it too, yes. You should probably check your tire pressure every other day.
Well, not a lot of people have that time. I could say once a week.
Yeah, once a week at minimum.
Yeah, minimum.
At minimum once a week. But if you live in a place where it's 40 degrees at night and it's 80 or 90 degrees, 70 to 90 degrees in the morning, check them every 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I would say at minimum check them every 3 days. Because you know your tire pressure is going to be flip-flopping that much.
Yep.
And trust me, it's best because you never know when you're going to have that low tire pressure and you take that turn a little bit too much.
Yep. Or if you drive in the city a lot, you can usually get slow leaks. And it won't look like it's flat.
Until it's too late.
Yep. I've had that happen to me.
Yeah. I think we've all had it happen to us time and time again. There are the extreme cases where I could show you pictures where actual, like, railroad spikes went in through people's rims. But, really?
Yeah, I have a picture that my wife ran over something that punctured through the tire and through the rim.
Oh yeah, that's right. We could never find it. I didn't think it was a railroad spike. I found a railroad spike in somebody's.
It punctured a hole through the rim by about an inch and a half diameter.
That's probably a bolt.
Like
yeah, a bolt.
Like a $1 coin or a 50-cent coin.
50-cent coin, yeah. A bolt will do that. A decent sized bolt will do that.
It was long enough to puncture the top middle of the tire and about 2 inches down of the rim.
Yeah.
So it was like an 8-inch
industrial
bolt. Yeah.
Bolt. Yes.
Yeah. And how it went through and didn't get stuck but exited as well is beyond me.
Because the head didn't go through the tire.
Yeah. Well, $120 rim and a $100 tire later.
Yes, you have a brand new rim and tire. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Road hazards. Always be careful. Always be observing.
Yep. And always make sure that they rotate your tires every oil change. I don't care that it says, every 7,500 miles you should rotate them. Nope. Rotate them every oil change.
Yep. I agree with this.
Fuck it. Rotate them every oil change. You'll get more life out of your tires that way.
And a lot of shops won't tell you that your warranty depends on you rotating your tires.
The tire warranty? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't, it voids your warranty.
It does. It does. Also, here's another one that everybody hates because it's so goddamn expensive and you have to get it done at the dealer. When you buy a new car, the 30, 60, 90 is not just a suggestion. It's to keep the warranty on your vehicle.
The 30,000,
60,000 and 90,000. I don't know if they still do those all the way, but I do remember them doing a 30 and a 70, and they've been throwing them all over the mileage these days because technology's been getting a little better and fluids have been lasting a little longer.
Yep.
But yes, you have to do those services. Even if you don't do them at like the exact time you need to, as long as you do them, it doesn't give them a chance to void your warranty.
Yep.
Because they will get you on neglect.
Yes. It has happened to me. A tire warranty.
Okay, so, and then I have another thing that goes into maintenance, but it's usually one of those ones that, people kind of want to do, but don't really want to buy, into the, how much it's going to cost them and all that other stuff. It's spark plugs.
Yeah.
Yay! Spark plugs! So, spark plugs. One of the maintenance things you need to do for your ignition. And there's telltale signs to tell you when the spark plug's bad, and it's not just the idiot light, which is your check engine light. There's ones that'll tell you way before that happens. If the check engine light's coming on, it's because you waited too damn long and you didn't listen to your vehicle. Now, some of them can be attributed to other things, but there are visible telltale signs, not visible, but kind of noise or feeling kind of, things that you can do.
And you say also with idling, right?
Yeah, one of them is definitely idling. If it's running rough, you know what I'm saying, or you've got excessive vibration, it could be motor mounts, but it also could be the fact that they're not firing and hitting as hard as they used to.
The spark plugs, or one of them's not firing at all.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember in mine, the head of the spark plug just came off.
Exactly. That was one of your misfires. Exactly. Another one is a lot of people are thinking that it's something completely different, but if it takes your car longer to accelerate, like if you push on that motherfucker and it just doesn't want to get up and go like it used to, there could be something wrong where it's not firing off as much as it is and your compression's a little low, because it's not banging off as much as it's supposed to. You know?
That's what she said.
You know? Here's a big one that everybody loves is fuel economy. If your fuel economy is low, it's because a lot of that fuel that it's supposed to be burning off is just going out to your exhaust. And it's
not being burned completely.
And it's just that your car is just going to... It's a giant computer. And if everything's not running right, guess what's going to happen? It's going to try to make itself run right. So it's going to start dumping more fuel in to offset that. Well, it needs more fuel because it's not pumping as much as it's supposed to. So, you know, it's not igniting as well as it's supposed to. So, and here's the number one thing that everybody's like, oh, it's probably the battery, it's probably this, it's probably that. It takes your car longer to start. If your car takes too long to start, sometimes it could be the battery, sometimes it's the spark plugs not igniting. Getting everything, you know, getting the motor running, you know. And if you get a rich smell from the exhaust, if you start your car and then you're like, oh, I gotta grab something from the trunk, and it smells like fuel, yes, it is time to change your spark plugs. That means they're not firing probably as well as they're supposed to. You probably have a pretty big misfire if you're smelling something super rich. So there's a couple more, you know what I'm saying? And you want to change them out per recommended by the manufacturer. So if your manufacturer says, we put nickel spark plugs in your car and they're supposed to be changed every 50,000 miles. Put nickel spark plugs in your car and change them every 50,000 miles.
Don't go for the ridiculously expensive.
No, don't go for the platinums or the double platinums because it can make your car worse.
It can make it burn too hot and destroy your engine.
Well, I don't believe it'll destroy your engine, but it will burn too hot and you will still get the same shitty gas mileage.
Oh, okay.
But it will not destroy your engine, but it will burn a lot hotter. But you will still see shitty gas mileage. Sometimes it will cause a misfire. Put what is recommended from the manufacturer in your car. Sometimes they'll have a sticker underneath the hood. If for the DIYers, they probably already know what spark plugs work best in their vehicles, and they know how to work around certain things. So this is not for them. This is for the general Joe Schmo that takes it to his car or wants to start DIYing. You know, if you want to start doing it yourself, more power to you. You know, more power to you. I would love to see a lot more people take an interest in their vehicle maintenance-wise, you know.
Yeah, because I don't want to be charged $120 an hour from a dealer.
No. And, I mean, granted, yes, I'm in this business, but if you can take care of it yourself and I'm no longer needed, I can go be an accountant. You know what I mean?
Or help someone else who doesn't know.
No, exactly. I could turn around and be a teacher, you know, and teach this kind of stuff. So, you know, don't be, you know, so stressed out about your vehicle. I'm not telling you guys this to be stressed out. I'm telling you guys this because you want to be informed about your vehicle. So, any other questions that you might have personally? For the automotive corner.
Okay, personally.
Like, you know, yeah.
Is it always a good idea to buy the extended warranty?
On what?
I mean, where else can you extended warranty on? I thought it was just when you buy a car. When you
buy a car, are you talking about GAP? The GAP insurance? Or are you talking about the extended warranty?
Extended warranty on the entire vehicle when you first buy a brand new car.
Okay, so you're talking about, like, you know how they give you the 3-year or 100,000 mile first?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's an extended one after that. Is that from a secondary company? Or from the same company or it's just the second tier?
Second tier.
Oh, yes, of course.
But if it's from a third-party company...
No. I mean, you can if you got that money to throw around. But I wouldn't suggest it. Only for the simple fact is that you have GAP. You know what I mean? And after a couple of years, most people want to trade in their vehicle anyway.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So after 3 to 5 years, most people trade their vehicles in anyway. So
really? Wow. I've held on to mine.
I know you've held on to yours forever. And it seems to be more of the trend these days, but before, everybody would go around about 3 to 5 years.
That's why leasing is so popular.
Yeah, because you can always just turn it back in. But what a lot of people don't understand is a lot of these contracts for leasing, they have like, if you go over the mileage at the end of the year or how long you lease it, you get penalized for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you were thinking about, leasing out a brand new Silverado and you went over that mileage, you're going to be paying a monthly payment at the end.
So there's a mileage cap on most of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's usually in the fine print. Read all your fine print. But I will have to say this. When you buy a vehicle, please get the gap. Please get the gap insurance. Please get the gap insurance because you never know what's going to happen.
What's the gap insurance?
Gap insurance is basically this. Let's say you were pulling out of your house 2 months after you bought the car. You get in an accident. It's totaled. Your insurance is only going to pay for a certain amount of it, what the car is worth used. Gap takes care of the rest. Oh. So you don't have a monthly payment to pay for the rest of what the insurance wouldn't pay.
Yeah, because it's paying out.
It's on a car you're not driving? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because speaking of that, my wife's nephew totaled his car in the rain a few months ago. Bought a brand new car last month. 3 weeks ago. He totaled it. Today. Guess who didn't buy the gap insurance?
He didn't?
Nope.
Oh. Ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, always buy the gap insurance.
And he also went with dealer financing. If possible, do not go with dealer financing. It will always be higher than your own bank or federal credit union or any credit union you have.
Mm-hmm. Personally, go with a credit union. Even if you don't have one, go get one for about 6 months. 6-7 months.
It'll always be cheaper.
It'll be way cheaper. And you can always look to get into being pre-approved because that gives you more buying power.
Yes, it gives you a good amount of leverage on
that. Because then you can say, I've got this much to spend. I'm not going to go any higher than this. They have to show you stuff in that range. They can't go higher, but they can go lower.
Yeah. And you can haggle when buying a car, which no one thinks is still a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. You can show up with a pre-approved check. Let's say you got pre-approved for $30,000.
Yep.
And you see a car for $40,000. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could probably get that car because you're walking out with a check. You're walking in with a check already for $30,000 cash.
And they know they're going to get that money
immediately. Yeah.
Yep.
They don't have to do all the legwork of finding a financer and all that shit. It's already been done. So if it's for $40,000, you can just be like, look, I got a pre-approved check for $30,000. I have a car outside that I'm trading in. Make this deal happen or I walk.
And always go to more than just one dealer.
Yes.
Shop around. You would not believe the price differences between cities.
Not only that, but here's also a big thing that people don't understand. Maintenance. Maintenance comes back to maintenance.
Yeah.
When you're pricing a vehicle, make sure you know how much most maintenance is going to cost for that vehicle because it does vary.
Yes.
It does vary. A lot. A lot. And if you can afford $100 oil changes every 3 months or 7,500 miles, go ahead, get that Beamer or that Mercedes or whatever. But if you can't, you're going to be rolling around in a Toyota Corolla.
Mm-hmm. Instead of, Lamborghini.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Rolls Royce or any other.
$8,000, by the way,
what?
to do the spark plugs on a Lamborghini.
$8,000?
Mm-hmm.
That hurts.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
I could buy a car for that.
Exactly.
I can buy a Kia Sorano for that.
Kia Sorano? Maybe, yeah.
Well, they start at $8,000 and go up to like 11.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I can buy a brand new car for between $8,000 to $11,000.
Mm-hmm.
$8,000 for spark plugs? Jeez. Yeah.
Spark plugs cost $1,000. That's where that $8,000 comes from.
Oh my gosh.
Specialty spark plugs.
Because they're made of pure platinum.
I wouldn't be surprised if they have a platinum core and a platinum tip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of them that say they're platinum that we buy
yep.
actually have a nickel core.
Yeah, cheap bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So there we go. There's a little bit of the
Mechanics Corner.
yeah.
Something you really need to know in life. Trust me. You'll thank us later. And if not, you'll be sorry.
And maybe next time I'll talk about AC.
Ooh, yes. Air conditioning.
Air conditioning, yeah.
We need
Air
that in
conditioning,
America.
and I'll probably talk about cruise control because I've always wanted to talk about that before.
Yeah?
How it either helps or hurts your gas mileage.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to save that for another time because
definitely.
that's the end of this one.
Wait, no, it's not. Did you forget about your surprise? Did you forget about your surprise?
I didn't even know about it.
I told you about it. I told you about the theory when we first started. That I had a nice little theory for you.
Of evolution?
No. That I had a nice little theory, and when you heard it, it was going to throw you off and stuff because this is going to pique your interest and you're going to run about it. It has to deal with the legend side of Star Wars and Street Fighter.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
This is a total left turn here. Star Wars and Street Fighter.
Yeah.
What does this have to do with the other?
Bison is a Sith.
Oh, God. Okay.
Okay, I know you don't understand. I know you don't understand. Do you know the legend of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Don't ask me to go that far back from the 2008.
Darth Plagueis the Wise. Okay, I'll even go back a little farther. Do you know who Darth Bane is?
Darth Bane, yes.
Who is Darth Bane?
Darth Bane is an asshole who offed most of the other Sith off to make the whole one master, one apprentice.
The rule of two, yes. But what was he looking for?
Was the immortality?
Mm-hmm. And what did he find?
Lots of nothing.
No. He found the way of immortality through essence transfer.
Oh,
which
yes,
is
yes.
It's a relevant term because it's not really essence that he was transferring.
It's like his soul-like thing.
It was actually his mental capacity and his whole brain synapses, memories, stuff like that. It wasn't in essence. It was basically he was doing a brain swap without the brain swap.
Yeah, Darth Plagueis did that.
He tried. Actually, he was trying to improve upon it and make himself immortal through midichlorians. He was trying to make himself immortal. Now, if you go along this line, at the end of the original Street Fighter 2...
Game or movie?
Game.
Okay.
Game. Bison dies.
Uh-huh.
Bison's supposed to be dead. Well, he made himself clones.
Uh-huh.
Here's the thing. He was here's a word play on words, in essence, using Star Wars's essence transfer to buy himself into clones.
Yeah. And the Emperor
was doing the same thing with clones. So, in essence, Bison is a what? Say it. Do it. Do it.
Bison is a fan of astral projection.
Say it.
He's a Saiyan.
No.
Okay, fine. He closely resembles to an asshole who likes to switch bodies. No, I'm not doing it.
Really, do I have to give you more example? I mean,
does he have the
psycho powers? His psycho powers? His Psycho Crusher?
His kinesis?
Yes. He can even lift objects and is enormously strong and fucking fast for a man that size.
Fine.
And he was considering world domination under his rule to make it safer. Bison is Plagueis. There, I said it. Have a good night, everybody.
Suck. Fine. He can be a really low-grade Sith.
I never said he was a good one. I just said he just was one.
All right. You win.
Okay, then.
I'm going to black out.
I'm too black for this shit.
That's right.
And I'll see you guys later.
Till next time. Night.
Night.